it says my connection is poor. Oh my God. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can see and hear you.
You might want to take your picture off and just worry about sound.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so what's gonna happen is that, Marie, are you gonna be able to share your screen? Because I'm not gonna be able to, unfortunately.
Everybody got the documents via email.
Yes, I understand that. So the documents that we're talking about is the reconciliation form and the balance sheet that Jerry prepared. Thanks, Jerry. Thank you. And whomever assisted in the preparation of that form. Did you guys see it?
Yes. We did.
Did.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So, I mean, this should not be a very long meeting. If everyone is able to look at the reconciliation form, you'd realize that the money that was granted, the $42,500 that were granted, was spent according to the approval of the board and based on everything that we agreed we were going to do to balance, to zero out that balance.
So we are not talking about any other budget, just that budget.
That is the only budget that I
Hey,
am.
Francoise, then,
privy to.
because I said I'll write there in chat. I thought this was also our budget for the, a meeting on the budget. So I'm really,
That is the one budget that I am,
yeah, I know. All right, that's why,
that's
Anyway.
within my purview and that I am actually looking at. I'm not looking at any other budget. If you're talking, are you talking about a capital budget?
yeah, yeah.
That's a separate conversation, and I think that with,
That's Steve Weidberg. Steve Weidberg has it. He's
Okay.
Weidberg.
I apologize, Francoise, I made a mistake.
No,
Anyway,
you don't have to apologize.
okay.
It's an honest confusion. So if we go back to the reconciliation form, please. Actually, you know what? Let's look at the first document, which is the one that says New York City Council discretionary funding fiscal year 2020. Are you able to see that one? Okay, perfect. So it starts with, it's got 4 columns. It has the name of the vendor. The next column is the amount expended, the date that the payment was submitted, and the date that the payment was received. So if you go down the line, you'll see all of the expenses that were incurred and the balance. And you will notice that there is an unspent balance of $13,881.29. Now, the majority of that was the $13,200 that had been allocated for the live streaming of the full board meetings. Of course, that didn't happen. COVID hit, and as of March, there were no full board meetings occurring. Therefore, the money was not spent. Now, I mean, I had a couple of sleepless nights over this in the last few days when I actually got my eyes on this document, and I said, oh my God, we didn't spend $13,000. And then thinking in retrospect, there was no other way that this money could have been reallocated, given, one, the pandemic, two, the fact that it has to be vetted by the board. We have to go back to the board and say, hey, you know, we're not going to be able to spend this money. We really didn't know at what juncture the pandemic was going to be over. So it was like a month-to-month situation where we didn't know we were going to meet the next month and maybe not. And then the next month came on, and did we meet? No, we didn't. So the expense was just sitting there, and we really, I feel, didn't have much time or bandwidth to make a decision within March through June to decide how to reallocate the funding and also get it approved by the full board in a timely fashion. So it just wasn't going to happen. Therefore, the money sits there. It's $13,000 that was unspent, and that's going to go back, I guess, to, wherever it is that it originally came from. Is that understood by the committee?
Yes,
You
that makes
guys are
sense.
muted.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that we all know that this is the reason why. But we did spend $28,618 of the money. It was well spent. We did what we had to do. We went through the process, and minus that hiccup caused by the pandemic, you know, this is where we're at. I mean, could we have spent it somewhere else in another way? Perhaps, you know, but it was going to be really difficult. I mean, it took us a year almost to agree to what we finally did and how we finally spent it and how it was distributed and how it was spent. Imagine having to think of ways to spend $13,000 in a month's time. It was going to be nearly impossible, especially when all of the city groups and all of the government and the city, the municipal offices themselves were like running around, not knowing exactly what to do next. So there we are with that. So I just wanted to get the committee together to agree that we're presenting this to the full board, and and if there are any questions at this time, this is the time to raise them in anticipation of the full board meeting.
Let's make a motion that we agree with your judgment and that it needs to be brought to the full board.
Wait, I just want to say something. This is Dell. Didn't it have to be spent by a certain time anyway?
Yes, that's the
So,
point.
so we couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of, well, imagine what we could have done. We had it all worked out, and then the pandemic came, and that was it.
Exactly.
There was no time to start all over again. We didn't have, we tried, we asked if there would be, you know, if they would prolong the time, and the answer was no.
That's right.
So that's it.
Oh, great. I was anticipating any questions that could arise because of it.
Well, that's it.
Okay, so everyone agrees?
Yes.
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 Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So that's, I mean, do we have to vote on this?
That is a vote. That's a resolution and a vote, Maria. We have been happy with your leadership all the time, so please.
Jerry, do we have to would the proper thing be to make a motion to accept the report?
Yeah, I guess that would be in order to accept the report. I mean, if you choose to, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but
No.
to accept the report as written, and if you choose to present it to the full board
Right.
next week, then that's Maria's call.
Okay, well, then,
Okay.
yeah, because I think it's more, you know, proper way to do it. I'd like to put a motion before the committee that we accept the report as it is and present it to the full board at the next board.
I just have one question for clarification.
Yes.
The only clarification that I would like is, like, I see that Spectrum just has an amount, but there's no payment submitted or received. So I was just,
That's
also
a fair question. All right, so that's an intercity account. So once the board or any other agency, and Giovanni, you probably know this, once we transfer money to an intercity account, it's lost. It's theirs. And whether we spend 700 or 599 or 629, DCAS, or in this case, it was Do It keeps the money, Department of Information, Technology, and Telecommunications. So they hold the intercity account for all the city agencies for Spectrum. So the money we give to them, and then they pay it out of their pot.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for the clarification.
Sure, you're welcome.
So it was actually spent. Correct, Jerry?
It's spent, but it's difficult to track because just like with our regular Verizon landline telephone accounts, once the money is transferred to Do It, it's theirs. If you try to get it back, it's very difficult. What we do every so often is we'll go over the telephone bills, and when we come up with for Verizon, we come up with the opening account, and then we have we compute what's needed for the year, and we put that money in the account for the year. So it's the same thing with this Spectrum internet account. Does that answer the question?
Yes. it answers-
Okay.
Jerry, I want to ask one more itty bitty question. Is that given the fact that the virus interfered with our spending this money, can't we ask the city to give us
Interfered in what way?
what?
Interfered with what, in
Because
what
we
way?
couldn't spend the money because of the coronavirus. And
Well,
what,
this was city council money, and back in March, you know, we did talk to the city council about getting an extension, and the request was denied.
Right.
well, we can put in there that we'd still like to have an extension. That it should be considered because of the crisis in March.
I mean, this money is gone. This money returns back to the general fund. This money is not even available.
All right, we'll let it go. I hate to let $13,000 go. There you go.
Well,
Can we vote?
I second the nomination motion from Phil.
Okay, so
Maria, all in favor?
all in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye.
bye.
Aye.
Again.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, that's it then, right?
Presented to the full board. Yes, this is it. Thank you so much, folks, and thank you for your patience and flexibility while I was trying to connect.
Wonderful meeting, very good.
We
So-
always like you, Maria. You did a great job.
So I'll see some of you at 6:30 at the land use meeting.
Yeah,
Good
I'll
luck,
see
Del.
you in a bit, Del. I'll
Okay,
be
all right,
there.
great.
Stay safe,
Okay,
everybody.
Thank you all.
Bye.
See you guys.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Keon Brooks, nice meeting you somehow.
Nice to meet you as well.
Gio,
Nice
good
to meet you.
see you. All right. Okay, take it easy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Gio. Bye.